What's up guys? Tyler V at ZZP here. Today we got another install video for you. What's up guys? Tyler V at ZZP.
Alex S at ZZP.
Back at you with another install video on the Gen 2 Cruze. We got the LE2 working.
Working hard right now.
Yeah, working hard.
Working hard.
This platform's really coming together and we're really enjoying the results that we're seeing. But like many of GM's vehicles, the intercooler is just not ideal.
It leaves a lot to be desired on the MATs and IATs.
Yeah, so obviously, you know, like we've talked about before, an intercooler isn't something that necessarily adds power, although we may see a power bump from it. Realistically, it's more about keeping those intake temps down, keeping that air denser. GM likes to sandwich them in between the AC condenser and the radiator, which obviously means it's not getting that fresh air first. So Mr. Alex here has developed a nice, beautiful kit with a massive intercooler that we're going to be installing today.
That's right. I went as big as I possibly could, as you'll see as we run through also the install today, showing you guys the step-by-step process on how to put this on your own vehicle. But yeah, this is a completely new product. It's a unique design to this vehicle only. It fits this vehicle only, so it's got specifically casted end tanks that just fit on the Gen 2 Cruze. So we really want to look after you guys and bring you the best products possible.
We'll walk through what's in the box and then we'll do the install.
Let's go do this.
All right. What's in the box? In this big box here is the base kit, which everyone will receive. And then we're gonna have a couple of options on the website. They're gonna be for whether you have a stock turbo or maybe a big turbo, you know, maybe something that's coming down the line. But the one thing that is needed for this install is our billet turbo outlet. Now that's been for sale for a little while on the website, so we understand that some folks have already purchased that. So there's gonna be an option for if you have that billet turbo outlet currently, if you do not, in which that kit will come with one of those, and then some different silicone sizes for, you know, maybe larger than stock turbo. So first off, we have the silicone coupler here. We have that separate because this car already has our billet turbo outlet on it. Let's get in it and see what's included. All right, I'm gonna put this down. In your white envelope, you're gonna have all of your stainless T-bolt clamps. There's gonna be 10 total in there. I won't open that up because we all know what those look like. Next up is our upper charge pipe. Nice little ZZP logo on there. All mandrel bent 2 1/4. Next is gonna be the turbo outlet side to the intercooler. Then we have the cold side here with the CNC mat pad and the main attraction. So here we have our specific LE2 intercooler. We had these beautiful cast end tanks made. Dimensions are coming in at 25.5 long, 4 deep, and 7 1/4 tall. This boy is massive. You'll see how small it is compared to the stock intercooler once we get it off, but beautiful piece there. Got the mounting tabs. And then the rest of the components in the kit are just gonna be a couple more silicone couplers. All right, let's get to it. Now that we've got everything unboxed, we have our car racked, obviously, with all of our products. You can do this in your driveway on some jack stands. You will need to get it up because we're gonna have to take this bumper off. So that's where I'm gonna start. Take the wheels off, then we'll get the bumper cover off. We'll kind of expose those inner workings and we'll start taking that stock stuff off. We've got the wheels off. Next we're gonna start getting this front bumper off. So I'm starting underneath. First thing you're gonna wanna do unplug your fog lights. Then you're gonna work on taking this under plastic off here, which is mostly 7 mils. And then we got a couple push pin fittings. With those off, we're gonna work on getting these out. Then this under tray can work its way off. It's got 2 retaining clips that you'll slide out. Don't forget this center one here like I did. You can go ahead and move that to the side. Now while we're under here, I'm gonna grab your ambient air temp sensor, which is up here in your bumper. Unclip that. So we've got everything undone. We're gonna feed that over to the side just to get it out of the way. We've got a couple more 7 mils over here. With those plastics off, it's going to reveal 1 more 7 mil on each side. You'll need to take that out because that retains the fender liner. With all that undone, I'm going to bring the car back down and we'll get the fender liners off and then go to the top. We got a T15. There's gonna be 2 of these Torx in here. We'll pull the fender liner back and then get access to 1 more bolt up in there. With those loose, we've got another 7 mil up top. All right, then rinse and repeat on the other side. Up top, we've just got 4 more 7s. Whip those off. Then there's 2 little retaining tabs. Pop those loose. And the bumper's ready to come off. We want to get in from behind. Pop those off on both sides. There we go. Now we're going to work on removing a couple accessory pieces that won't go back. So first is going to be this. That's just going to be a 7 mil. Then for these shroudings here, on this left side, there's a tab that's gonna be right in there. There it is. So one little tab in there that I'm gonna push down on. And you'll see that start to come free. Pull that out. Then at the bottom here, there's gonna be another tab. Push that. Once they're both free, go ahead and pull that out. Same thing on the other side. This one's already broken. Oh, I see. Yeah, that one's already. Next, we're gonna attack the charge pipes, get those stock ones off. We're gonna start with both sides of the intercooler. On this side, we've got a little safety retainer clip that you're gonna twist and pull off. Then from there, it's just a circlip around. So I'm gonna take a pick. So you got it loose on both sides. Take that off there. We'll move that charge tube just off to the side. This side's a little easier. There we are. Now for the turbo outlet, there's going to be one worm drive clamp there. That's going to be a 7 mil. Get that loosened up. I'm going to work that off. And then you can just pull that charge pipe out from the bottom. We've got the turbo outlet side off, or the hot side as we refer to it. Now we're gonna get this cold side off from the throttle body. There's a couple things we gotta do first. I'm gonna relieve the pressure in the coolant tank, just in case. And then you're gonna want to undo this constant tension. That hose off. There we go. Then we have this brake booster line, which is going to be a clip connection down there. So you'll push that in, pull the line up, and then pop it off from our charge pipe there. Down here, we have a little connection to the heater hose. Snaps off kind of like a zip tie. And I'm just gonna push that heater hose off to the side to get that up. We've got one 10 mil that's gonna hold this bracket on. So you'll need to go in from the opposite side. Then the last connection we have is going to be at the throttle body. It's going to be another clip. Get in there with your pick. Pull that out and remove it on both sides. I'm going to work that charge pipe up. And with everything loose, yep. Work that up and around. And that comes right out the top. With all the charge pipes out of the way, we're going to work on removing the stock intercooler. Now to do that, because it has to slide backwards, we're going to have to move this radiator fan shroud. So first step, there's a big plug, big connector. You're going to want to remove that. Once that's disconnected, it'll get a little more room. And it may be hard to see, but there's another T15 back here, just above your heater hose. On the other side, it's going to be right near this AC line, so it might be a little tricky to get to. But if you use a 1/4-inch ratchet and a short extension, you can get a handle on it. You may find it easier to actually come in through the bottom. I know I've got small hands, so it makes things like this a little easier. With those two bolts out and your plug unplugged, you'll lift up and you can move that back. Just kind of leave that rest in there, and now we can take that stock intercooler out. On the driver's side of the intercooler, you have your stock map sensor, so we're going to need to undo that connection. Pull back on the clip. Push down, pop that off. Now, to get the stock intercooler off, it's going to need to go backwards. That's why we disconnected our radiator fan shroud. So if we come in here, you can see that it's retained right here, and there's a clip at the top. So your best bet is actually to put your fingers in the intercooler and pull down, and you'll hear it pop loose. You can work that back, and then we'll do the same on the other side. You'll hear it click. And then you'll need to move that fan shroud a little. Make sure that's not going to fall out. And there it is, our little puny stock intercooler. We will need to take that factory map sensor off, so that's going to be another Torx. That's going to end up going on to our new charge pipe. Remove the bolt. Gently pry it up. It is an O-ring seal, so might take a little coercion to get out of there. As you can see, our intercooler is much bigger than the stock one. All right, after maybe a little bit of frustration, we found out the best way to get this on. That's why we like to do these videos. Gives us another look on and another hand on putting everything together. So we're gonna start with the hot side charge pipe. You're gonna have your silicone coupler with the small end, that's gonna be for your turbo outlet, and then the 2 1/4 end is gonna be for your charge pipe. I've made a little mark here, just for reference for you guys. This is gonna be approximately 3 1/4 inches down on the long side of the charge pipe. And now, why I did that is it makes everything ideal going back in. So you're gonna take your silicone coupler, slide it onto the charge pipe, and we're gonna reference that measurement. Now it doesn't have to be exactly that, but you wanna get it approximately, like I said, 3 1/4 inches down. That's backwards.
That is backwards.
There we go. So that 90 degrees is gonna run perpendicular to the actual charge pipe itself. So you're gonna make an L if you're looking back down at it. Then you're gonna take your billet turbo outlet, get that into your silicone there, and then you'll bottom it out where it starts to increase in diameter. Now this is gonna go up and in and on to that turbo outlet. All right, with your completed assembly, you're gonna go up, get it past the heater core hose, and then you're gonna use this cutout in the radiator fan shroud to work it up and in. Then you'll come in from the other side, guide it around, and slide it onto your turbo outlet. That's gonna be the easiest way. We don't have the intercooler mounted up yet, and that turbo outlet gives us some swing, so you can leave that loose. We don't have any clamps on it. Now we're gonna go ahead and throw on the intercooler core. I did wanna point out one thing. In your kit, you're gonna have 10 total T-bolt clamps. If you look on the side, they have an identifying number on them. 9 of them are gonna be the same, and they're gonna end in -262. There's one that's gonna be smaller. That's gonna be your -238. That's gonna go on your turbo outlet, as that's the smallest part of the system. So make sure not to try and use that on all your other silicones. It's not gonna work. So I'm gonna set this off, just so I don't get it confused. But we're gonna start by hanging the intercooler. And before doing so, we're gonna slide a couple of these silicones on. To the end tanks here. Get your T-bolts lined up, but don't tighten them down yet. As we'll likely have to play with final fitment. All right, so we've got those on. Now let's get this intercooler up. You're going to need to grab the hardware for mounting. There's going to be 2 long Allen head bolts and some lock nuts for the back. Now obviously our stock intercooler mounted in these plastic channels here. We've got something much larger. So we've got the included mounting tabs, and those are going to bolt through here on your crash bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these, thread it through, get it in there. Then we can lift the intercooler up. Get it started on that bolt. And then as you can see, due to the width, it's not going to go anywhere once you have that first one on. So then you can grab your other one, come over to the other side, get that threaded through. Then I'm going to take the nuts and just get them started on the back side. And our mounting holes on the tabs are slotted, so you have a little bit of room to go left and right. You just want to make sure that you're centered. Got about the same amount on both sides. Once that's in place, you can see how there's going to be just a little bit of room on each side of the bracket. So make sure you're not shoved all the way over one way or the other. You want to be kind of right in the center. From there, you're going to take your 5 Allen for the front, 13 mil on the back. Get that one started. And I can tell it moved just a little bit. So then you'll probably want to use one arm, rest it against the intercooler, or if you have a buddy, that always works as well. It's starting to get tight. Kind of work from side to side. Just do some double checks. Make sure we're good. And then also, it was good that I left these T-bolt clamps loose, because now I can rotate them. There we go. Rotate those up. We've got the intercooler up, the hot side charge pipe. Before we get that fully on, I'm going to throw a clamp around it. Leave that loose. Then you're going to work your charge pipe into the straight coupler. Should be nice and easy now that you've got everything connected up top. And you're going to want to push that all the way towards the intercooler. Once you've got that charge pipe in, you can see you can rotate that pipe back and forth since we don't have our clamps tight. what you're going to want to do is push it towards the left, but steer clear of that piece of the subframe. That's going to give you the most clearance up top. Make sure you're not kinked anywhere. Properly oriented, you should be able to get your fingers between the charge pipe and the pulleys. So plenty of clearance there. We're going to start on the cold side here with our lower pipe. Going to take that map sensor that you took off the factory intercooler, toss it into that CNC map pad. We include a new stainless bolt. Then you're going to go ahead and tighten that down with your 5mm Allen. There we go. We've already got our silicone on the intercooler when we mounted that. So you're going to take your cold side pipe. The long end is going to go up. So you're going to feed that through around that radiator shroud and get it tucked nicely into this silicone. Now this is going to end up sitting at about 45 degrees, but we'll finalize that angle from the top. While we're here, you're going to want to take your map sensor plug, and we're going to go in over the top of this plastic bracket, kind of rotate this, orient it so you can get that plug back in and it's not taut. You've got plenty of wiggle room there, so you're not going to pull any wires. Your ambient air temp sensor will go back in the bumper later, but I'm going to hop back up top and then we'll finish getting the cold side mounted. Lower cold side charge pipe is on. We're going to move to the upper. First things first, we're going to do the throttle body coupler. This one is going to be very easy to tell. It's got a kind of question mark shape. Smaller end is going to go onto the throttle body. So I'm going to throw a clamp over that. All right, make sure you're bottomed out on that throttle body. Then we're going to move on to the charge pipe. I'm going to get this coupler started. So you'll throw the bottom in first, but we're going to connect up here at the throttle body next. So you've got everything in and loose up top. Then you're going to need to come back down. And because we don't have any tension down at the bottom, you can rotate that enough to get that bottom half of the 45 onto the pipe. Once you've got that silicone fully engaged with the charge pipes, take a second, look everything over, make sure you're not touching anything. One of the big things you'll want to note is where this 45 comes across. If you do have it oriented incorrectly, it can end up resting on the transmission. This is an auto car, so manual cars you probably won't have that problem. But because we have these silicones in place, you can twist and move and orient things exactly how you want it before you throw those clamps on. So I'm just looking around here, making sure we're not touching anything. We're clear. Our ZZP is nice and straight. Looks good there. I'm happy with this orientation here now. So besides our clamps, we're fully installed, intercooler's hung, charge pipes are all set. I'm gonna come through, throw this heater hose back on, throw this brake booster hose back on. Then I'm going to start addressing the clamps. I'm going to start from the top, work my way around. One thing that you always want to note, especially on an intercooler kit when working with stainless T-bolts, a lot of people like to use hand tools to tighten them. Now, not saying that there's anything wrong with hand tools, but you need to get them a lot tighter than you think. We've heard folks in the past say, oh, you sent the wrong size clamp, XYZ. Hammer those suckers down. Now don't break them, but if you're using, say, a impact ratchet, go until it starts to go, and that's obviously an official noise. Sponsor us, Milwaukee, right? But like I said, I'm gonna start running these clamps down. Obviously, you wanna throw your bumper back on, your wheels back on. Don't forget your under tray on the bottom. On the car, that helps with the airflow across both the intercooler and your radiator. Don't forget that. Make sure all your hoses are tight. Check for clearances. You know, do a once over before you get everything situated. Make sure your coolant reservoir cap's back on, the brake booster hose, anything else that you may have disconnected during disassembly and reassembly. But with that, you've nearly doubled the size of your intercooler system here on your LE2, along with some great looking powder-coated charge pipes. Really a simple, straightforward intercooler install. I'm gonna give this car back to Steve, but be on the lookout. We do have another LE2 second gen Cruze here in-house. We actually acquired a manual one, and we're gonna do a nice build series taking you through step by step of all the mods that we have for this and that are coming in a way that we think that customers should do so. But along with those videos, we're gonna do some A/B dyno testing, get you guys those numbers that I'm sure you want. Be on the lookout for that, like I said. That'll be coming up soon. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time. Peace.